Morning, everybody. It's 8:32, and this is your pre-opening comment for Tuesday, the 9th of April. Okay, so this morning we have Asia mixed to higher, Europe mixed to lower. At 7:30, the market was up 21 in the Dow, 43 in the Nasdaq, and $7 in the S&P. Right now, we're up 63 in the Nasdaq. The S&P is up around 11, and the Dow up about 45. So things have gotten a little stronger, but nothing overwhelming. Okay, so we have a bunch of auctions this week. We have 58 billion in 3-year notes. Tomorrow, we have 39 billion in the tens, and then on Thursday, we have 22 billion in the 30 year. And I think that those are going to be somewhat enlightening. But also tomorrow we have the CPI and core CPI. And then the next day we have the PPI and core PPI. So, you know, the market seems to be sitting and waiting for some direction on the basis of the big numbers that we get. This morning, defense stocks are lower, um, and that's more of a reaction of defense stocks in Europe. They have had massive run ups. And are settling down a little today. And so ours, which dramatically outperformed for months, are giving back a little of it. I mean, it's nothing overwhelming, 1% here, 1.5% there. So, not really a big deal. We have FCX, Freeport McMoran, B of A raising their guidance for price objective of 59. The stock closed yesterday 50. So, 45% is nothing to sneeze at, and the stock is already substantially higher. And that is a reflection primarily of the price rises that we've had of gold to new all time highs and silver, as well as copper. We don't talk about the copper a lot because it tended to be slow moving. And after its dramatic collapse from a new all time high at 502 a year and a half ago, it immediately turned down back into the $3 area. You don't generally see 40% declines from new all time highs. Right now, the copper is trading at 431. It was in a trading range that we kept on talking about, between 360 and $4. So, okay, so this was the top of the range, and on a weekly, it becomes dramatically more visible. I'll just show it to you. See, we had $4 here with a break to the downside, and then a top, and now a little bit of a breakout and a pullback right to that $4 level. The low was 396 and 3/4 here, and that was 3 weeks ago. And then last week, we had a huge rise in it, up over 22 points. And this morning, like I said, we're up another 790. This is a very, very telling chart. They call it Dr. Copper because it tends to let you know the health of the rest of the market. So, in an age where good news is not necessarily looked at as good. Good news for the economy is not necessarily good news for the market. It pushes off, the rate cuts from six this year to five to four to three, to people like Kashkari coming out yesterday or the day before and saying he doesn't anticipate any rate cuts for the year. Um, Pot, always an interesting subject. Tilray with a miss on revenues. That's TLRY. A miss on revenues and a better than expected loss, meaning a smaller loss, but gave poor guidance. Now, let's remember this is a stock that when it first hit the market was about $20 and it had a meteoric rise to 300 in less than a week, topped out at 300 and has been as low as $1.50. Currently trading 209, down 22 cents, and pardon me, down 39 cents, with a low of 209, and the last is 220. ACRV is a pharmaceutical, and the stock closed yesterday at 591. What's interesting here is they did a private placement above the market, substantially above the market, which is really unusual in this industry and in general. So the stock, as I said, closed 591, and the low today, after they put out the news that they did this $130 million deal at 8.5, sent the stock straight up. The high was 1102. The last is 963. That's up $3.72 or 63%. Very unusual, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, Bitcoin down a little this morning, down about 1,000. Uh, let's just go back here. We have the grains lower across the board. Oil down just 18 cents, and $2 and change off the low from yesterday. Nat gas, as I said, higher 188. That's up 3.5. Our position in UNG is coming back very quickly. The gold up 14 and change, silver up 28 cents, the copper, as I said, still higher. Meats are the only market that has not had a meteoric rise in the last year and a half. It's just come down, which makes a lot of sense, seeing as the animals are cheaper. Feeding them to grow them is cheaper with the corn. And, there's just no impetus. And yet, when you go into a grocery market, meat is one of those items that has moved up and is not coming back. The dollar is down about 10 cents, as I said, down about 1,060 in the Bitcoin after a 4,000 point move yesterday. Bonds are actually up a little. I'll still be interested in seeing what Rick Santelli has to say about grading of uh, the auctions today. Dow currently up 63, NASDAQ currently up 74, and the S&P is up 12. Have a good day, everyone. I'll be back later.